So we have with us today Mr. Suresh Narayanan, the Chairman and Managing Director of Nestle India. He's the man who turned around Nestle, one of the largest players in India's FMCG sector and with a long history in the country. Thank you so much, Mr. Narayanan, for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Anjana. It's a pleasure and privilege for me to be on your platform and look forward to participating in your program.
Thank you so much. So, Mr. Narayanan, your leadership during the Maggie crisis was instrumental in navigating Nestle India, through a challenging period. So, what were some of the key leadership qualities you relied on to drive the company through the crisis, and how has this experience kind of shaped your approach to leadership since then?
Look, Anjana, the first thing I would like to clarify is that leadership is a role. Leadership is not the only person or the only individual or the only office that determines the efforts that have been and the consequences of that effort in a crisis. So while you have been very kind to mention me as the person who was responsible for getting the company out of the difficult situation, I think in all humility, it is the hundreds and thousands of people who work with me, my partners, my stakeholders, my distributors, my suppliers, my farmers. So many people have been involved in making this happen that I think it will be a complete lack of humility if I were to not acknowledge the role that they have played. But having said that, I think as a leader, there are three or four things that become important in a crisis, in a difficult situation. The first thing which I believe is that the crisis is not about you. The crisis is about your people, and it really is. It doesn't matter if the consequence of managing the crisis is not good for you or for your career. If you approach it with a single-minded focus at what does it do for my career, I think you're making a huge mistake. The crisis is something that you need to attend to in order to ensure that the organization and people who work in the organization come out of the current situation. So that's number one. It's not about you, it's about the people. The second one is the leadership comes with the ability for you to take the bullets when they come. So leadership is not about standing in the back and putting your people in front. Leadership is about your standing up and being counted in a very polite, in a very definitive way, in a very firm way, with the environment and with people who matter, to make sure that you are the one who's doing the talking on behalf of the company, and not that it gets diffused across the organization. The third piece is that managing a crisis is about managing yourself. More than 50% of the problem in managing a crisis is when you're not capable of managing yourself, your emotions, your feelings, and your outcomes. And I think people look at you as a leader to see, when is this leader having the confidence? Is he having the capability? Is he having the necessary emotional construct to be able to get us out of the difficult situation? So the third important thing is really about managing yourself.
Right.
And I think the fourth element is really to look at reality yourself. I think important for a leader to not be guided into a reality that is of someone else's making, but a reality as he sees it, to prioritize the tasks that need to be done, and to calmly but politely but firmly guide the organization in coming out of the difficult situation. And the fifth element, which I believe is important, is that a leader should not know all the answers to all the questions. A leadership is about the capability of asking the right questions, but of also being vulnerable, of also being human. I think people look at you, Anjana, and say that, is he human? Is he also as vulnerable as all of us? Or is he a superhuman being, or is he next to God? I think people resonate well with leaders who are vulnerable, who are human, who don't know the answers to all the questions, but who are determined to find the answers along with you.
Okay, great. So, Mr. Narayanan, Nestle has a long-standing history in India, dating back to 1912. So, how has the company evolved its product portfolio and business strategies over the years to kind of adapt to the changing consumer preferences and market dynamics in the Indian context?
Look, I think one thing it's fair to say, Anjana, that Nestle is the world's largest food company. So it is, any food and beverage that is meant for a man, woman, a boy, girl, or a dog or cat is made by Nestle. So we have a long history of more than 150 years of nourishing the world and of providing brands for different stages of life. So that's the first thing. So in India, we started in 1912 with the import model. We imported Milkmaid in those days, and we started with Milkmaid. And then 1961, we set up our first manufacturing location in Moga. And with that, we were the pioneers with Milkmaid. We were the pioneers with instant coffee. We were the pioneers with Kit Kat chocolate. We were the pioneers with instant noodles. So all of this has been introduced by the company to India and to the consumers. And I think it has been therefore a very focused strategy on building the portfolio, on thinking about the long term. I think the strategy has been always long term. Making a food brand to work is a question of not just investment, but effort and diligence over a period of time. And I think we have done that for a long time to build these brands. And today we enjoy the status of being one of the largest listed food companies in the country, commanding a lot of respect and goodwill from numerous millions of consumers based on a culture of respect. We always believe that respecting oneself, respecting each other, respecting the environment, and respecting the future are important tenets of how we are successful as a company. And that's what we seek to do each day. So we have a network of more than 100,000 farmers in the Punjab who have been giving us milk for more than 50 years. We have a respectful relationship with them. We have spice farmers, we have coffee farmers, we have distributors who've been with us for 2-3 generations. We have suppliers who've been with us for 30, 40, 50 years. They all form part of the Nestle family that I'm privileged to lead. And that is what makes for successful brands and successful experiences for consumers.
Okay, great. So, Mr. Narayanan, you spoke about Nestle's diverse portfolio, of iconic brands in India, ranging from beverages to confectionery and dairy products, as you mentioned. So, how does Nestle kind of ensure that each brand retains its unique identity while also contributing to the overall growth and success of the company?
Look, I think one of the things that we do is that a brand exists because it stands for something.
Right.
It gives something unique, and it is consistent over a period of time. Let's take a brand like Milkmaid, for example. Milkmaid, the brand itself is 150 years old, more than 150 years old. Apart from the fact that the lady, the maid on the can has been digitized to take care of the modern act of printing, the promise of the brand has remained consistent in these 150 years. It is used for either creaming your coffee, or it is used for dessert making, and it is used for baking, and it has contemporized itself with the journey of the consumer. And that's what makes it so relevant even today. Take a brand like Maggi. Maggi noodles is consumed by millions and millions of consumers in this country. And for each one, Anjana included, there will be a Maggie experience. There is
Yes.
one way in which you have your Maggie, and that is unique to you. And that is the gift that Maggie gives you, that you can make it the way you want to, and the way you want to eat it, and the time you want to eat it. So the consistency of the brand, the competitive advantage of the brand, and the sustainability of the brand are all reasons why these brands last for so many years. Unlike some brands which come in today and are gone tomorrow, these brands have been around for decades, and therefore they have built trust, and they've built confidence, and they've built credibility over a long, long period of time.
Right. I think every household in India today must be using at least one Nestle product.
Well, many of our brands are, we are privileged and blessed to have millions of consumers across in our milks and nutrition products, in our food products, chocolate products, in our coffee and beverages products, in our dairy products. So we have a wide portfolio now. We have got health science and pet care and breakfast cereal as well. So yes, we are privileged to participate or allow ourselves the privilege to participate in at least one occasion that the consumer will have, where he or she can experience Nestle brand. But our integrity lies in ensuring that every experience is a happy experience in terms of quality, safety, and consistency of the product.
So, Mr. Narayan, you also spoke about agriculture sector playing a crucial role in Nestle's operations, particularly dairy farming, as you already mentioned. So, can you elaborate on Nestle's initiatives to support and empower farmers in India, and how these initiatives contribute to the sustainability and resilience of the agricultural supply chain?
Look, I think the business model of the company, whether it is in Latin America or whether it is in Europe or whether it is in India, the relationship with farmers has been an integral part of the relationship. In India, it began in 1960, about the time when we were setting up our factory in Moga. The relationship began with farmers. Today, we are dealing with about 100,000 dairy farmers. These are out of which almost 65,000 dairy farmers are women dairy farmers. So there are women in the house who have decided to take on dairy farming. The husbands work in the field, and the wives and the daughters take care of the dairy farm. So 65,000 of them are women dairy farmers. So the company has partnered the farmers in terms of ensuring the quality of the feed, the quality of the breed, the veterinary services of medicines, of good dairying practices, of disposal of dung and manure. All of this has been done in the past 50, 60 years. And the result is that we have a sustainable relationship with these farmers. Now, some of the farmers, in fact, call their house as Nestle House because they've been associated with the company for such a long time. In the same way, we have a relationship with coffee farmers in Coorg and in Kerala. Almost 5,000 coffee farmers are part of the Nescafe plan. We have a Nescafe center in a place called Kushal Nagar, which is in Karnataka, where we help breeds and with new genetic material. As far as coffee is concerned, we work with the government on good agrarian practices, sustainable agrarian practices. And I want to assure you, Anjana, that every cup of Nescafe that you consume is made from sustainable coffee. Coffee which has been grown in the right conditions, minimizing the use of fertilizer, increasing the natural manure content, and ensuring that they are cropped in the best conditions that are possible. So this is the Nescafe plan. Similarly, we have a Maggi plan that we work with spice farmers, almost 1,500 spice farmers in 4 states, in Andhra, in Maharashtra, in Gujarat. They work with us, and there we ensure that the spice that is grown, which is things like turmeric, chili, cumin are all and grown in the proper conditions, that there is a good agrarian practices, and all of this helps them in realizing a higher price for their spices, and thereby also contribute to the quality journey of the company. So in all of this, there is a lot of expertise, there is investment, there is time, there is energy that is involved to ensure that it is a win-win. The Nestle organization can win only when the farmer wins. Not it is not a competitive race. It is a complementary race. The farmer produces the best quality milk, the best quality coffee, the best quality spices. Nestle is able to produce the best quality of Nescafe, of Milkmaid, of Everyday Dairy Whitener, of Kit Kat, or any of the other brands. And then the consumer is able to get the best products that are possible.
Great, absolutely. So, Mr. Narayan, with the increasing focus on health and wellness, what steps is Nestle India taking to align its product portfolio with consumer demands for nutritious food, while still maintaining the taste and quality that consumers expect from Nestle brands?
Look, nutrition, health, and wellness is a core part of the agenda for the company. And at Nestle, we believe that there is nothing called good nutrition or bad nutrition. Anything in excess is not good for you.
Right.
And anything in sub optimal levels is also not good for you. So there's nothing called good nutrition or bad nutrition. It's all about balanced nutrition. So in balanced nutrition, if you have a once in a while a portion of Kit Kat or of Maggie or of any of the other products, there is no harm. These actually complement the taste and the experience of the consumer. What we have been doing as a company, and as Nestle, we are the largest spenders of money on R&D for food. Almost $2 billion each year is spent across more than 30 R&D centers, and one of the R&D centers is in India as well, in order to develop the process, the technologies, the recipes for more nutritious products. So we are also signatories to what is called the Eat Right campaign, which has been spearheaded by the FSSAI. And as a result of this, we have made very good progress in terms of reduction of salt and sodium, reduction of fat, reduction of sugar in our products. We have launched a whole range of nutritious products with millet, with atta, and with other ingredients in order to ensure that the consumer has a more balanced profile. And as you rightly said, it's very easy for us to launch a product with zero sugar, but it will be tasting so terrible that nobody will want to buy it. So the trick of technology lies in being able to optimize on the nutrition profile and also give you a great taste so that you are able to consume the product. And that, I believe, is the core competence of the Nestle organization.
I think people today are also switching to jaggery based products instead of sugar.
Yes, we have a Milo which we have introduced, which is the power of protein, whey protein with jaggery instead of sugar. So that's also being test marketed. It's got off to a reasonable start in the south, and yes, that's also trying to have better forms of sucrose to be consumed rather than the traditional refined sugars.
Okay. So, Mr. Narayan, with a successful turnaround at Nestle India, what strategic initiatives are you currently focusing on, to sustain the company's growth momentum, or rather enhance its market position in India's FMCG industry?
Look, we've had, I think, with the participation of everyone and thanks to the efforts of everyone, we've had a successful track record. In the last 5 years, our top line turnover has grown by about 11-12%. Cumulative annual growth rate, the CAGR as it is called. Our operating profits have grown by about 11-12%. Our net profits have grown by about 13% on a CAGR basis. And our market capitalization, which was about 500 half a trillion rupees in 2018. Today is about 2.5 trillion rupees, so almost 5 times. So the track record of the company has been fairly strong, and even despite the turbulence of COVID, despite the other economic turbulences, we've still done fairly well as a company. I think we've also been investing a lot of money on creating capacities. We announced in 2020 that we'll be spending about 2,500 crores. We announced once again in 2022 that we'll be investing another 3,000-4,000 crores. Between 2022 and 2025, the company will be spending close to 5,000 to 6,000 crores in creating new capacities. So our capacities for noodles has gone up. Our capacity for nutrition products has gone up. We are doubling the capacity of coffee that we are going to manufacture. And indeed, as a consequence of this, we have set up our ninth factory in Gujarat, in Sanand, which is 60% manned by women. So women workers are the ones who run that factory. And we have announced some months ago that we are going to open a 10th factory in Odisha that at an investment cost of about 800-900 crores of rupees. So really the investment plan is also strong for the company. The penetration into smaller towns is also going very well for the company. And overall, I think this is a good phase of accelerated growth in the new India that we have today. The new India, which is now racing towards $5 trillion of GDP and of accelerated infrastructure and other development initiatives. I think Nestle is making its own small participation in that growth story, and hopefully it will be a strong story in the coming years.
How has your previous experience at HUL influenced your leadership style and strategic decision making at Nestle? Especially considering the different business context of the two companies.
Look, I think I'm always grateful to Hindustan Lever as I knew it. Now it's called Hindustan Unilever. That is the organization that gave me the foundation of management. So, I'm always grateful to that organization for making me the professional that I am. I was a master's degree postgraduate who joined that company as a management trainee, and whatever I am today has been the result of what all the leaders and all the giants in HUL allowed me to have the freedom to work, and also at Nestle that I think that I have been working now for the last 25 years. I think a few things have always remained with me from the early experience. Number one is the importance of ethics, purpose, and values in your leadership style. I think that's very, very important. It has remained good to who I am. The second is what I recently described as the three I's, which is inayat, ibadat, and insaniyat. So really trying to ensure that people have the best kind of management opportunity within the organization. That we are human in terms of the work that we do. We are professional in terms of the capabilities that we develop within the organization. And I think to ensure that at all points in time, that we are respectful and humble to each other. I think the power of creating a culture in an organization is so very important that is what makes for being a successful company. And that is the only satisfaction that I have of being able to develop leaders better than myself in my long career.
Absolutely. So, Mr. Narayanan, you also spoke about the growth of the company, Nestle India. So, which is the highest, which particular product has seen the highest growth trend in the last year?
Well, all our categories have grown well. Our Mills and Nutrition has grown by double digit. If you look at 2022, the closing period, we have had a growth of almost 14% in our turnover, and that has come in double digit in Mills and Nutrition, double digit in chocolates and confectionery, double digit in coffee and beverages, and also double digit in the food portfolio of the company. So therefore, I think we've had very strong performances across the portfolio, and that is what is making for the strength of the company. That we are not a unidimensional company depending on one product, but we have today multiple products that give us the benefit of growth, and that's the strength of the organization.
Great. And lastly, aspiring leaders in the FMCG industry often look up to established industry veterans like you for your guidance. So, what advice would you offer to these aspiring leaders aiming to make a significant impact in the industry?
Look, I think the first thing is leaders have to understand that they have to uh, constantly upgrade their competence every single day. The age in which they are in, the person who stops learning stops growing. So developing your competence every day and developing your curiosity every day is going to be an important aspect of developing a career. Second, I talked about the principle of inayat, ibadat, and insaniyat. Never forget that you have to be respectful, you have to be humble, you have to take your people along and ensure that they have all the benefits of a empathetic, compassionate leader who's leading them. Targets will happen, results have to be delivered, but you can do all of this with inayat, with ibadat, and with insaniyat. And that's the second message that I would like to give. And the third message I would like to give is that the less a leader thinks about himself, the more he will contribute to the organization. The problem is when leaders become selfish or when their egos get the better of them, or they develop the hubris to keep trying things which are completely and totally out of the norm, is when problems happen in an organization. Most organizations tend to go through troubles not because of bad strategy, but because of bad leadership. And that's something that everybody, all young leaders, should keep in mind.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Mr. Narayan. It was lovely connecting with you. It was really insightful.
Thank you. Thank you, Anjana. Thank you for this conversation, and look forward to keeping in touch.